It's okay now. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran said clearly that we have sent down the Quran and we will be its guardian. Means we'll guard it from any change, from any distraction. So the ayah is clear here, talks about how the Quran was preserved. So we should learn from the start that there is no any single word in the Quran that is not divine. The book of the Quran has been handed down to our age, to our time, in its complete and original form since the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the time the book began to be revealed, the Prophet has dictated its text to the scribes. The written text was then read out to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who having satisfied himself that the scribe had committed no error of recording. The Prophet ﷺ used to instruct the scribe, the people who just tried to write down the ayat revealed. The Prophet ﷺ used to instruct them about the sequence in which revealed the message was to be placed in a particular surah, chapter. In this manner, the Prophet ﷺ continued to arrange the text of the Quran in systematic order till the end of the chain of revelation. So whenever ayah revealed upon the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet asked the Sahaba to keep it in their heart, to memorize it, to use it in reciting the Quran and the Salah and so on. So again, it was ordained from the beginning of Islam that a recitation of the Quran must be an integral part of worship. Hence, the companions would commit the divine verses to memory. So the Sahaba, we should understand, during the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there was no any process of collecting the Quran in a written way. The Quran was preserved during the Prophet's time in the Sahaba heart, in the companions' heart, not in a book. So during the Prophet's time. So the Prophet ﷺ didn't ask his Sahaba, didn't ask his companion to write down the Quran, but to memorize it and to keep the Quran and the verses of the Quran in their heart. So we should understand from this ayah that the Quran had been preserved in 4 different ways. Number 1, the Quran had the whole text of the divine message from the beginning to the end committed to writing by the scribes of revelation. Number 2, many of the companions learned the whole text of the Quran by heart. Number 3, all the respected companions without an exception had memorized at least some portions of the Holy Quran for the simple reason that it was obligatory for them to recite the Quran during the Salah, during worship. An estimate of the number of the companions may be obtained from the fact that 140,000 companions had participated in the last pilgrimage performed by the Prophet ﷺ. So the number of the Sahaba during the Prophet's death were more than 140,000 Sahaba, and all of them for sure had some portion, some verse of the Quran in their heart. The Quran, so the Quran, we should learn that the Quran during the Prophet's time was preserved in the heart of the Sahaba, not in one book as today. Number 4, considerable number of the literate companions kept a private record with the text of the Quran and satisfied themselves as to the purity of their record by reading it out to the Prophet. The Prophet didn't instruct anyone to write down in a book, but if someone would like to memorize and write in a paper or something like that, the Prophet ﷺ approved that for sure. So we learn now that the Quran is preserved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till the day of judgment. So please, the objective today after this ayah, we should evaluate the features of collecting the Quran during the religion of Prophet. We should learn how the Quran was preserved during the Prophet's life or time, and to appreciate the efforts of Sahaba to compile the Quran. The Quran was compiled and collected during the two of the Sahaba. Inshallah, we are going to discuss together. The outcome, we will be able to compare the efforts of the Sahaba to collect the Quran, the compile it in one place. We have a video here in 2-3 minutes. Someone has a question. Okay, just I'm trying to share the link with you. This is the link. Please go through this link and watch the video and try to learn something from this video. We are going to discuss the main lesson from this video. So please pay attention and drive the main lesson. Okay, you can start now. So this is the reason of collecting the Quran during Abu Bakr time. So pay attention. What is the reason for that? So thank you so much for that. It's enough till here. I think till here you already got the point. Why the Quran and when the Quran was first collected by the Sahaba and who was the first one thought this like lead to collected the Quran. As we understand it from this video, the first time the Quran was collected during which Sahaba? Who would like to share with me? We can say anyone, Hania Sheikh. From this video you have watched, which one are the first Sahaba who started collecting the Quran?
It was
So can you please speak up?
it was
Yeah, in this video, the Sahaba, the first one who was collecting the Quran, already mentioned. Who was the first leader after the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? The first Khalifa.
it was Omar.
Omar was the second one. Anyway, thanks so much for sharing. The first one after the Prophet ﷺ was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So we should understand here that the first attempt to collect the Quran was by Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Thanks so much for your sharing, Hania. You can mute yourself again. So why? Yes, you can. Go ahead. You have something? Yes, Hania.
It was Umar who convinced Abu Bakr.
Exactly. Umar ibn Khattab convinced Abu Bakr to why? To start reading the Quran. Why? Do you have the reason?
Because he thought that if people died, like the Quran would get lost.
Exactly. Yes. MashaAllah. Exactly as you said. So a correct answer. MashaAllah. Thanks so much. You can meet yourself. So do you know after the demise of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do you know someone called Musaylam al-Kadhdhab in Yemen, in different region, different area of the Medina, started claiming that he is the coming messenger after Muhammad. That's why for sure Abu Bakr and Umar al-Khattab want to show how Islam is strong even after the Prophet's demise. That's why he prepared the army to defend the Islam and sent the army to fight or to try to defend Islam by fighting or by having battle with this man, Musaylam al-Kazzab. In this battle, more than 300 of the Sahaba who memorized the Quran by heart died in this battle on this time. That's why Umar ibn Khattab suggested that the Quran should be collected and compiled by them. Why? In order to preserve it in one book, because as we said, the Quran was not collected, was not compiled during the Prophet Muhammad in a book. The Quran was preserved, what was kept only in the heart of the Sahaba. That's why Abu Bakr was afraid. For sure, he was a deep fear. He had a deep fear to read the Quran. Why? Because he did not like to do something the Prophet ﷺ did not do before. You understand? That's but after some attempts, Umar ibn Khattab was able to convince and persuade him. Then they started to ask Zayd ibn Sabit, the one who used to write down the revelation during the Prophet time, to start collecting the ayat, not just from one Sahaba, from different Sahaba, of at least 3 Sahaba should agree on the ayah, on the same ayah. If the 3 Sahaba agree on this ayah, so the ayah should be written on the Sahaba. But here, the Quran was not collected in one book as we have today, but the Quran was collected and was written in different booklets. It's called Suhuf. Suhuf means manuscript or different booklets. And this, the Quran was collected in different booklets with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And when Abu Bakr died, the Suhuf, the manuscripts, went to be kept with Umar ibn Khattab. And when Umar ibn Khattab died, the Suhuf was kept with his daughter Hafsa bint Umar. After that, after Umar, for sure, you know the third Khalifa, the third leader of Muslims who was what? You know him? Who was Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. So here, we should, the first question, the task 2, what are the reasons the Quran was compiled in one place, in one book? So was the Sahaba given the duty to compile it in one place? So now we understood the first attempt, the first try during the so please, can you please, guys, pay attention? Muhammad Imar, pay attention, please. Okay. Yes, thanks so much, guys. Please pay attention. It's very important. This topic is very important because most of us had no more clues about how the Quran was collected. So again, we have 3 attempts, 3 tries. Number 1, the Quran was compiled, not like compiled, but was preserved during the Prophet's life in the hearts of Sahaba. The second true attempt to collect the Quran during the first leader of the Prophet, who was Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and the suggestion came from Umar ibn Khattab. The Suhuf was written by Abu Bakr or by the Sahaba at the time of Abu Bakr was kept with Omar, and after the demise, the death of Omar, the Suhuf were kept with Omar's daughter Hafsa radiallahu anha. So what about the book we have nowadays? This book was collected during the third leader of Muslims, the third Khalifa, who is Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. What is the story? What is the reason which made Uthman collected the books? During the time of Uthman ibn Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, there were some differences in reading the Quran. Difference in reading the Quran became obvious. After consultation with the companions, Uthman had a standard copy prepared for the Suhuf from the Suhuf of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. The following is the report in the Sahih al-Bukhari. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu narrated, saying, Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman one day came to Uthman ibn Affan at the time when the people of Sham, Syria, and Palestine in this area, when the people of Sham and the people of Iraq were waging war to conquer Armenia and Azerbaijan. Salma, do you hear me? Salma?
Yeah, I hear you, sir.
Yeah, do you hear the word Azerbaijan, right?
Yeah, I do.
So our story will start from here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So our story today will start from your country, so pay attention, please. So when the people, the Sahaba of the Prophet ﷺ during the Uthman ibn Affan region, during the time of the third Khalifa of the Prophet Uthman ibn Affan, started to spread Islam everywhere. When they reached Armenia and Azerbaijan, they found people in these two countries recite the Quran in different styles, in different ways. That's why Huzaifa was afraid of the people of Sham and Iraq, differences in the recitation of the Quran. He said to Uthman, O commander of the faith, of the believer, save this nation before they differ about the book of Allah, as Jews and the Christians did before. So the people had started to criticize one another for reciting differently. It might be the same place, the same country, but the people in the same country started reciting the Quran in different way. That's why the Sahaba were afraid or were scared about the Quran, or were afraid about the Quran. They wanted to preserve the book. That's why they suggested that Uthman should compile and collect the book. So Uthman sent a message to Hafsa saying, send us the manuscripts of the Quran so that we may compile the Quran in perfect copies and return the manuscript to you again. So if I ask here, Alina Khan, why Uthman ibn Affan sent to Hafsa? Why special Hafsa?
Because she was keeping the manuscript after Umar ibn Khattab died.
Thanks, Monsieur. You follow us. Thanks so much for that. Inshallah, you are tender. So Uthman ibn Affan sent to Hafsa, please, Hafsa, send us the manuscript which was kept with you after the death of your father, Umar ibn Khattab. So Uthman then ordered Zayd ibn Thabit, this number one, and Abdullah ibn Zubayr, this number two, Sa'd ibn al-As, and Abdul Rahman ibn Haritha ibn Hisham to write. We have four Sahaba who took the responsibility to collect the Quran. Zayd ibn Thabit, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, Sa'd ibn al-As, Abdul Rahman ibn al-Haris to rewrite the manuscript in a perfect copies. You understand? I told you during Abu Bakr, the Quran was compiled in different booklets, not in just one book. That's what Osman wanted to do it in a perfect copy. Osman said to the four men who are gonna read the Quran, he said, in case you disagree with Zayd ibn Thabit on any point in the Quran, then write it in the dialect of Quraysh, as the Quran was revealed in their tongue. They did so. And when they had written many copies, Uthman ibn Affan returned the original manuscript to Hafsa radiallahu anha. Uthman sent to every Muslim province one copy. Uthman started sending the Sahaba to different areas, different countries. Each country, Uthman sent one copy to each country of what they had copied, and ordered that all the other Quranic materials, whether written manuscripts or hard copies, to be like burned, because it was different restriction at that time. That's why Osman tried to collect the Quran in one book to be unified among all Muslims in different countries. So the making of the Mus'haf of Osman. That's why nowadays in a Mus'haf you can find it is written on the cover, a Mus'haf of Osman radiallahu anhu. So the Mus'haf of Uthman went through the following steps. We have different steps. We can say methodologies of collecting the Quran during Uthman ibn Affan. Number one, disputes had arisen among the Muslim about the correct manners of reciting the Quran. Uthman borrowed the Suhuf, which were kept with Hafsa. Because some people see that Uthman ibn Affan started collecting the Quran from his mind and the Sahaba, but no. The first source of Uthman depended on is the Suhuf, which was compiled during Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu. He ordered the four companions. So if someone tried to make doubt about the authenticity of the Mus'haf, we can see no, this book is authentic, this book is preserved, because Uthman ibn Affan depends, number one, on the first source and the Suhuf of Hafsa. Number two, Uthman ordered the four companions, among them Zayd ibn Thabit, to rewrite the script in perfect copies. And the importance of Zayd ibn Thabit here was Zayd ibn Thabit was with the Prophet Muhammad during the revelation. Whenever any ayah revealed upon the Prophet, the Prophet asked Zayd ibn Thabit to memorize it and be kept in a written way. Then Uthman sent these copies to the main centers of the Muslim to replace other materials that were in circulation. So Uthman depends on the Suhuf of Hafsa. Uthman asked four authentic Sahaba to start writing the book, the Quran, not writing, but to collect the verse from different sources from the Sahaba around them and write and keep it in one book. Then Uthman ibn Affan sent these copies to the main centers of the Muslim different countries to keep it in their country, to use it for sure. So this is two ways, two attempts of the Sahaba to compile the book. I just need someone to summarize and to recap the two ways. If I ask Fariha Badr, Fariha, we joined the debate, Fariha, it's okay, no problem. Fariha, do you hear me? Ibrahim, do you hear me? Okay. Let's ask the man who is always ready, Zuhair Anji.
Yes, sir.
Zuhair, did you get the two attempts of the Sahaba to collect the book, the Quran?
Well, I'm not sure on the second way, but I know that you said
ahead.
that so first they got the Suhuf from Umar radiallahu bin anhu's daughter Hafsa,
Yes.
because it was passed down, and the Suhuf was collected from before, when Umar radiallahu anhu convinced Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu to make it.
When this took place, please, during which Sahaba?
The Suhuf was made during Abu Bakr's reign.
Yeah, so the first attempt was during Abu Bakr, right?
Yeah.
So the second time during the third leader.
During Uthman ibn Affan's.
MashaAllah. So now we have just two attempts to collect the Quran. The first one was collected not on Mus'haf, one book. It was collected in different booklets, manuscripts, the Suhuf in Arabic, during Abu Bakr. And the second time, and the last one, is during Uthman ibn Affan, to collect the books in one book, in just one book, and send this book different copies to different countries. Thanks so much, Zuhair. Question number 2. Give your review. What do you think? What is the wisdom behind only Quran, not the other books of Allah? Why only the Quran was preserved, not the other books? Who could answer this? Shahmir, could you just express your opinion, your point of view? Shahmir. Okay, Sarah Sheikh. I think Sarah can share her opinion with
Hello.
us. Yes, Sarah. Do you hear me, Sarah?
Yeah.
So, Sarah, we said in the beginning of this lesson that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran said that indeed we have sent the Quran and we preserve it, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Why only the Quran was preserved, not the other books like Torah and the Gospel, the Old Testament, like that? Why? What do you think?
Okay, I'm not sure, but like probably
Just try.
because it was the last book that came
Exactly.
from Allah and it needed to be like maintained so that Islam is carried on throughout generations. And since it was given to the last prophet, it needed that type of security because otherwise, like
Mm,
the other books, they kept changing when it passed
exactly.
along. So
Exactly,
they needed
Sarah.
this to say this way.
MashaAllah. Well said. You said with the Quran was the last book, and no need at the time of Torah or Gospel or Injil and Torah to be preserved, because there is another book, the Quran, which came after both these two books. So no need at the time to preserve both of them. But the Quran is the last book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah preserved it. Thanks so much, Salma. What do you think, Salma? Yeah, do you agree with, for sure, she said, well, Sarah already answered the first point why the Quran only was preserved, not the other books. So if you have one more share, you can do it.
No, sir, I agree with Sarah because the other books
For
were
sure you agree.
modified
Yeah, I know.
by the people of the civilization. Means they weren't completely words of Allah. It was more like modified and adapted to the people's beliefs, which was incorrect.
That's enough. Thanks so much. And the Fawzia, she said, Quran cannot be changed and it have all stories, exactly stories of the past people. Thanks so much for sharing. As well, we should understand that Allah wanted the Quran to remain the eternal book and the law that would abide until the day of resurrection. Allah says, we have sent down to you in truth, confirming the scripture that came before it and after it. That's why the Quran was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet to confirm the same message in the books before it. There was no need, as Sarah said, there was no need for the previous books to be preserved, especially since at the time of the Quran was close to the time of the Injil, the book of Isa alayhi salam, and there were only 600 years between them. There were only 600 years between the Prophet Muhammad and Prophet Isa. Number 3, it was to be a test for those who had been given the book. Would they play their role in preserving the scripture? Would they believe in what is said? Would they follow the messenger of the Prophet Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, whom they found mentioned the Torah and the Gospel? The Prophet was mentioned clearly by the name of Ahmad in the Injil, the book of Isa, and Torah, the book of Musa. The name of the Prophet was mentioned in these two books, that there is a prophet coming after some time. The last reason why the Quran only was preserved, this was also a test for all the followers of Christianity until the day of resurrection. They can see that the book in which they believe is not free of distortion, doubts, and abuse. And they can see that the book of the final messenger Muhammad has been preserved and transmitted by so many that no one can doubt its authenticity. So that calls them to believe in the clear book, the Noble Quran. I think it's like a miracle for all of us to see the Quran for more than 1400 years. There is no any change in the Quran. If you go anywhere in the world, you find the same Quran without any change. This is to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved this book. No one can change it. That's why today we learned how the Quran was compiled and collected, and what guarantee the book is still preserved in the original copies, because we mentioned that Uthman ibn Affan took some authentic procedure to make sure that the Quran was collected without any change. Amara, do you have any share? Amara. Yes, go ahead, Amara, if you have something. You would like to share something. Amara, I hear you. It's okay, it's okay. Question number 3 here. What could happen if the Quran was not compiled in one place? And this question will take us to two types of questions, during the Abu Bakr time and during Uthman. So let me ask, what do you think if the Quran was not, Amara? Okay, Amara, I would like to hear from you. What could happen if the Quran was not compiled in one book? Amara? You would like to share, Amara? Okay, Nifaya Azmi. It's okay. Amara said it would be changed and hang. Okay, Nifaya, do you hear me? Ramin? Ramin? Sabira? Fawzia said it would be incomplete, exactly. Okay, I need someone to unmute himself and try. Shahmir, do you hear me, Shahmir? Would like to add something, Shahmir? What do you think if the Quran was not compiled in one book?
Mr. Omar?
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Omar, it's Amara. Can I answer?
Yes, yes, for sure. You can try.
Okay, Mr. Omar, if the Quran wasn't compiled in one place, people would change it definitely. Even if it was to be preserved, there would be some certain words that would change it. And not just that, even when someone would want to recite the Quran, it would be incomplete because everything like in the Quran, it's organized in a certain type of order. So basically, it's like each ayah that's written in the Quran was revealed at a certain time for a certain reason. So if it's not together, then it wouldn't make sense when you read it or when you try to recite it, because everything happened, or everything that's written in the Quran happened for a reason, if that makes sense.
Exactly, inshallah, Amar, exactly as you said. I think that people will stay like doubtful, who will keep in doubt, but the people who start to criticize each other, my book is authentic, your book is not, your book is weak, something like that. That's why it is one of the favor, one of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on us, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like guided the people during the time of the Abu Bakr and Uthman to take or just to do something like that, in order to preserve the book of Allah, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as the religion of Islam. Because our religion like derives its teaching from the source of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran. Shahmir here, he said it will be scattered, it will be harder for people to recite it completely, and it may cause conflict in the sense that some people might believe, mashallah is a good answer, believe some part of it, and not the others. Mashallah, Shahmir, thanks so much for that. And Muhammad Imar, mashallah, he liked the comment. I hope Muhammad Imar not to like the comment of the students. Try to participate with us, at least write down something beneficial. I don't know why you are mute today. Okay, anyways. Okay, guys, the last question here. How do we know that the Quran we are reciting is not changed, but it is original form? If we study the seerah of the Sahaba, the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, and how they like took it seriously to preserve the Quran, we would say Alhamdulillah for the blessing of the Islam, the blessing of the Quran, which was compiled in one book. And Alhamdulillah, till now, even there is many enemies for Islam, they could not do anything to change not only verse, but to change one letter and one word of the Quran. So Alhamdulillah, we have to thank Allah for that. Before we leave you, the plenary here, we have just one question. And please, guys, one more reminder before we start sending the email to parents. Please, you are year 10, you are mature, you are not young to just neglect something like that. Assignment, it is the most important thing for your grades, for your assessment, for formative, formative assessment. We have no written exam. Your grade will be depending on your assignment. You are so lucky. We have just one lesson a week, live session. And I'm giving you a very simple question. because I know that you have too much work. So I recommend you today before tomorrow answer this question. You understand? Amara, there is no any folder in notebook, class notebook. You will not find any folder there. That's why I ask you, if you click on the assignment tab, you'll find the folder under the title week 3, week 4. Go through this folder and please attach. You should answer the question outside in a Word file or PDF, something like that. Then attach your answer to the folder and go to the respective folder, week 3, week 4, and so on, and you will find the same title there. Now we are in the week 4. Please answer this question there. Inshallah, I'm sure that by the end of this week, I will find 1% of you answered or submitted the home learning. If you have any concern, any queries, any problems, any question, please contact me in my email. It's okay.
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
There's just one folder. So do we do this
What is the
task
title of the
here?
folder you see?
It says instructions, write down what you've learned from the live lesson and then attach it. So we do both of these tasks.
No,
just
no
this
need. It's a good question. No need to write down what you have learned. Just answer this
Okay.
question I send you in the chat box now. Okay, Sarah? So you find the folder, Sarah, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So guys, why would like to answer the, for example, Fawzia or Imara, why notebook is better from your point of view? Anyone can talk. Imara, you can share. Or anyone, Fawzia. Because I see assignment is very simple as well. You will answer on a PDF, you will answer in the Word file, then attach it. It's very easy. I think so. So please try it. Okay, try it, please. Answer in a sheet of paper, like you can take a picture of sheet of paper as well, your notebook, or PDF or Word file. You can attach your answer to the assignment. You have 4 days maximum, but I recommend you to answer today before you might forget, or later as you like, it's up to you. But what I need to see, all of you already submitted the home learning by the end of this. I think it's clear. Please take it seriously. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you if you just have sincere intention for that. May Allah protect you and your respected family. Do you have any question before I leave? Do you have any question? Okay. Alhamdulillah, I'm sure that all of you learned how the Quran was compiled and collected during Abu Bakr or during Uthman ibn Affan. Thanks so much. Have a nice day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bye, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you so